everyone, I'm back. So yeah, as you can see, the garage finally is complete, finally is ready to go, and it's actually better than it's basically ever been. I got the bike all set up, ready to do some work, and I just wanted to maybe summarize a little bit what we've done. Obviously, the garage is cleaned out. I haven't really done much work on the bike since the last video was shot. I've done a little bit, but you know, it's been 3 months since I've really been able to touch the bike, and that's been really frustrating to have the bike sit in the corner and not be able to use it. Motorcycle wise, last video I shot, I had done that little test drive up and down the street, and then immediately after that I did start working on the bike again, but I only shot a little bit of film, and the film wasn't of great quality, and one of the things was that I was really concentrating on what I was doing, and also a little bit was my son actually was helping a lot, and so, you know, it's kind of hard to pay attention closely to what I'm doing and work on the footage, and then when you add a 3-year-old into the mix, now 4, he's had his birthday recently, it makes it, you know, too difficult to do all of those things at once. But it was kind of cool. The little guy was basically the first time he ever worked on a vehicle. He got to pull some parts off, you know, simple stuff. I'm obviously not relying him on valve timing or anything. Anyway, so where we're at now is not all that far. I'm kind of scratching my head trying to remember. One of the reasons I shoot these videos, in fact, a big reason, is because I can look back and help record myself. Remember, the videos are as much for my own recollection as for anyone who might enjoy living vicariously. Anyway, so the valve covers are off. Usually, that's kind of the first step. Maybe I should first stop and say what we're going to do, because I think there was also some question of that. That should probably be a good thing to cover. So, what I plan on doing today is at least starting the valve inspection. If you recall, I don't know the health of the valves on this bike. I have none of the maintenance records. None. I don't know what we're going to find when we dig in here. This is, I inspected the valves on a Monster before, but I've never done a 4 valve. So, again, there may be less footage here because a lot of this is going to be me figuring the process out. This would be a good time to remind you that I am by no means an expert. So hopefully this doesn't go too bad. I think it will be fine. But yeah, so all of that to say, there's going to be a lot of experimenting going on here. But what I want to do is at least check the valve clearances, see where we're at. Coupled in with all that will be a replacement of the belts, but that's going to kind of go hand in hand. Another thing, a key critical concern with one of these old Desmo Quattro motors is the rocker arms tend to flake. Now, allegedly, the 916 motors tended to be healthier than the 748 motors and the 996 motors. But I don't know. So I don't know what we're going to find when we dig in here. But allegedly, the rockers tend to have less problem on these. We'll see. I know it boils down to different model years and whatnot. So, but yeah, I'm happy to be back at it. I don't know how much I'm going to get done today because, again, this is a very methodical process, and this isn't like changing the oil or something that I conceptually can grasp what I need to do, but I've just never even gone through it. So, except for a 2-valve Monster, which is a much easier job than this. So anyway, we'll get to it, and I'm glad to be back. All right, so I wanted to capture a big moment. That's kind of why I'm doing the video, and here's a big moment. I've taken the belts off. First time I've done it on any bike. It's a little crazy, you know. I can sit here and rocking the valve train back and forth. Pretty cool deal for me. When I did the Monster, I just inspected the valves and I didn't, you know, do as much as I could have. So this is really cool. It's extremely nerve-wracking, though. I've gone over this time and time and time again to make sure I'm doing it right. I think we're doing okay, though. So I'm about to go through we'll do valve clearances, check them, see where we're at, and give an update in a second. Okay, I have gone ahead and I've done the clearances on the vertical cylinder, and a little nervous. It's funny. I was like kind of getting shaky there out of pausing. Go get a cup of water because this is just such a big deal, you know. Which is funny because I've checked it on the Monster before, but I never had to do any adjustments. Unfortunately, it looks like I will have to do some adjustments on at least the exhaust side of the vertical cylinder. I still haven't looked at the horizontal, but I'll have numbers hopefully here in a moment, and then I'll be able to. I'll have to go order the shims, and it'll be a few days. But yeah, this is it's interesting. I don't know why it's such seems so ooh to me. 4-valve motor is just an extra 2 valves, but it does seem like a big deal, you know. I think I'm really aware of the fuzzy history that this motor has, and because of that, I'm always now, you know, once bitten, twice shy kind of thing. You know, I've been bitten a couple times by the bike, just based off of its age and its history. So I'm always like expecting to turn around and find, like, I don't know, just something like, you know, completely destroyed. I mean, I've had the engine running, so there's clearly nothing disastrously wrong yet. But anyway, we'll keep on cruising, and yeah. Okay, so I've done all the measurements, and we're looking pretty good here. I've gone through and I've checked in you know, every valve, and everything's within spec, which is really good news. Some of the closing shims on the intakes are a little bit tighter than Ducati specifies by 0.002 was it's a thousandth of an inch. I'm using LT Snyder's book, and he recommends what he recommends is a little bit different than what Ducati recommends on just that particular spec. So it's within, I'd say, his recommendations, and it's not disastrously off from what Ducati recommends. So I'm going with it. The good thing is too, everything's pretty solid here. They're all very consistent. Nothing's too slacky, and everything is pretty comparable to everything else. They're all about the same, which is like really good news if you ask me, because I was worried that I was gonna find some, you know, something disastrous. So my guess is this bike has been kept up, which yeah, that's cool, right? So the next thing though is to take a look at the rockers, and I don't know what I'm gonna find when I do this. Based off of how good, in what good condition the valves are, of course I don't know how historically they've been evolving, but given their condition, we're looking probably pretty good with these rockers. But I just don't know. So we're going to go ahead and take a look. It's going to be 100% peace of mind. Because honestly, if it passes this test, then the engine is like, I could say that the engine's in stellar shape, which will be really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and dig into it. Again, this one will be less filming just because of the high attention I need to give the subject. But yeah, I'm going to get to it. Okay, here we are with day 2, and last night I was able to pull the cam off of the first section here. I got it off the vertical cylinders intake side, and pretty good news. Well, mixed news. Cam itself looks okay, which is not unusual, but the rocker arms definitely are showing signs of wear, but they're not done. So according to LT Schneider's book, and again from what I can tell from the more reputable sources I've read and talking to some folks online, that once you start seeing some discoloration on the rocker arms, you can expect that they'll eventually start to give. But you don't really have to start replacing them until they start flaking. So far where we're at is we have what appears to be healthy valves and probably healthy rocker arms. I do have to pull the other 4 cams, so we'll get to that. Limited time today. I don't know how much we're going to get done this weekend. It is Easter weekend. I don't know if I've mentioned that while the filming's going on. And it's actually Easter Sunday right now, and it's already in the evening. I spent most of the day with friends and family, church, all the stuff you got to do on Easter. But have a couple hours here this evening, and we'll see what kind of trouble we can stuck in. So let's get going. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close out for the night and call this a day, call this a weekend. There's a lot of progress. Both cams are back in on the vertical cylinder. Vertical cylinder is done up until the belts need to go back on. One of the things that I did come across was putting the rocker arm pins back in. They tend to get airlocked by the oil that can be in that channel in there. So again, following the Desmo Times book, I did a light scouring with Dremel along the edge, and it made a world of difference. And you could feel it on some of the looser pins. You could feel with your thumb, you could push it and it would go boop. It would pop right back out. So you put a light scouring on there, put it in, and you can actually hear the air go right out. So cool stuff. Hopefully we have as much success in the horizontal cylinder as we did with the vertical. I don't know if I reported, but yeah, the rockers were basically in the same shape on the exhaust side as they were on the horizontal side. I'm just gonna leave them. Talking to some folks online, and it's like, yeah, you could replace them, but this isn't a brand new Testastretta. I'm trying to take care of the bike as best as possible I can, and there's a lot of wisdom out there that says that they're not going to just grenade tomorrow, and I think that's reasonable. So tonight they're gonna stay in, and we'll just keep checking them. You know, half the battle of this bike, or not the battle, but half of the point of owning this bike is to have something to tinker with. So hey, we'll have to pull cams every now and then. We'll have a part 2 to conclude the horizontal cylinder, and I'll slap those belts back on, and crazy, but that'll conclude the engine, as long as we don't find any like horrendously bad rockers. Knock on wood, right? This was very uplifting today. You know, I've had several months of just crap, and I really enjoy working on the bike. Just being able to sit here and tinker and listen to a podcast, go back and forth, was very, very nice for me. And I'm hoping a couple nights this week maybe I'll get to work on it as well. You know, so a lot of the other projects that I worked on too with this has ended in pain. You know, oh shit, this broke again. So, and nothing like that so far. It's all been, you know, stuff comes out, stuff goes in, go through the procedure, and so it's finally kind of going together the way it should, which is great. See y'all again soon, and everyone who's been watching and subscribing and messaging and commenting, all that stuff, it's appreciated. It's cool. I'm putting it on YouTube for the sake of you know, just letting people go along for the ride. I like doing it with other people's projects. I'll let y'all go, and see you next time. Bye.